Electrical vehicles are no longer the future, they are already here. But here's the real question for 2026. Should you buy an EV now or wait for some more time? This is quite a tricky question to answer because the answer isn't a straightforward yes or no. So stay tuned to find out. India's shift to electric mobility is gaining momentum, which is driven by policy push, new models, raising fuel prices, and consumer awareness. But mass adoption still depends on one critical factor, that is infrastructure readiness. Until that falls into place, the decision to buy an EV isn't quite straightforward. Is 2026 a good time? On one side, more EV models are hitting the market, giving more choices for consumers. Technology is improving, which is also increasing the reliability of EVs. The range is slowly getting better. So, the shift away from petrol and diesel has clearly begun. But on the other hand, adoption is still evolving. There are a few infrastructure gaps that remain. Consumer confidence is still building, and range anxiety hasn't disappeared among potential EV buyers.
It depends upon what the use case is. For example, for somebody who's looking to just go to office and come back, right? Or whether he's a two-wheeler or he is a car user. EV is more suited because if you can, and availability of charging. If you have a society which allows you to charge A or B, if you have your own home where you can put up your charger, then I think it's best to move to an EV.
In fact, experts say charging infrastructure is the single biggest enabler for EV adoption in India, which means 2026 is not the peak, it's a transition phase. The biggest challenges. Before you make the switch, here are some real challenges you must consider. 1. Charging infrastructure. India still needs a dense and reliable charging network. For long drives, automobile experts say users need charging stations every 50 to 100 kilometers to feel confident. Right now, the level of accessibility is still a work in progress.
As and when the charging infrastructure improves, then intra-city also is possible. Like say Bangalore to Mysore, or Chennai to say Coimbatore, or say Mumbai to say Pune. So all these inter-city is possible because government is spending a lot of money on electrifying the highways. And recently, Ministry of Heavy Industries has allocated close to 531 crores out of the 2,000 crores that it is trying to spend for installing more and more chargers on the highways. So every 50 kilometers that you move, you will see a charger on the highways. And HPCL, BPCL and IOC, which are India's largest oil marketing companies, they are also using their own infrastructure to set up chargers, and private companies also setting up EV chargers. So net, I think that range anxiety will disappear and will get further reduced in the 6 to 8 months term maximum over a year.
2. Range anxiety. This is one of the biggest hurdles. Many buyers still hesitate to make EVs their primary vehicle because of concerns about getting stranded mid-journey.
Range anxiety comes when because especially the first time buyers, they think of if I have a car, I may take it out on a weekend to out of the city and then what happens. So that's what under the PME drive also the government has installed a lot of public charging points, and I think till now around 30,000 charging points have already installed on the national highways, and the target is to reach up to 1.2 million, I think, by 2030. So having said that, one of the major issues that some people have come across is that they are not allowed to put a charging infrastructure in their societies. People who live in societies, especially in the gated societies, because of the RWS, which the companies are also clarifying, and the government is also trying to help, the right of way kind of a, thing that, they shouldn't worry about safety. And because when a charger is installed by a company, the engineers come and they see all your, electricity, wiring harness and everything. And when they check all the boxes, then only they tell you that, it is safe to charge. put the charging installation in your society or in your building. So this kind of mindset has to be there when it comes to charging points in the societies. And I think the government and both companies are also working in tandem for such kind of a facility for the customers. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to grow the EV market, which the government has targeted for around 30% of the penetration of the overall the vehicle sales by 2030.
3. Charging behavior reality. While range anxiety is an issue that needs a fix, about 95% of EV users rely on home charging and not public infrastructure. Which means if you don't have a charging point installed at your home, your EV experience could be very different. Why EVs still make sense? Despite the challenges, EVs are still gaining traction, and for good reasons. Low running costs. Electric charging is far cheaper than petrol and diesel, especially when done at home. Cleaner alternative. EVs help reduce emissions, which is a major advantage for urban India. Technology is catching up. Manufacturers are launching models with higher driving ranges to address buyer concerns. A long-term shift is inevitable. Industry reports such that internal combustion engines are gradually losing grounds to EVs globally. What you must check before buying. So, if you are planning to buy an EV in 2026, here's an essential checklist. Do you have a charging point at home? This is quite critical. Without it, charging convenience drops significantly. 2. What's your daily usage? City driving? Then EVs are a perfect choice. Frequent highway trips? Then you might have to think twice and plan your trip accordingly, noting the charging points along the route to your destination. Range versus requirement? Just don't look at the advertised range. Try to match it with your real driving needs. 4. Charging availability nearby. Are there reliable chargers near your home or office? 5. Comfort with new tech. EV ownership is still evolving, and you need to be comfortable with the occasional uncertainty. India's grid stability. Well, now that we have seen the pros and cons of EVs, does our electricity grid have the infrastructure to handle this massive energy requirement if everyone were to shift to EVs?
See, when we are talking about electric vehicles population increasing as a percentage of total vehicle population, the question related to infrastructure can be broken into 3 parts. 1, can the grid really take that much additional load? A related question, will the electric vehicles charging often affect grid stability? And third, the charging infrastructure itself. Now let us examine these questions. I don't think because of electric vehicles coming on, the grid is going to suffer in any major way, because there are so many things that are giving rise to increase in electricity demand. There is going to be an increase in AC load, for example. Data centers are coming up as large electricity consumers. Industrial activity is going up. That will consume electricity. So EVs will be just one of the demand centers, if I can call it that. So the grid will be able to take it eventually. As for stability, I think EVs will actually help grid stability, because if the policies are right and if things are handled properly, then all the EV charging can happen during midday solar hours. And as it happens elsewhere in the world, during peak demands, if the tariffs are properly tailored, tweaked, EV owners can take electricity from the batteries and put it in the grid also. That will help manage peak demands too. So I don't think grid stability is going to be seriously impaired because of a large number of EVs coming on the roads. As for charging infrastructure, the equation is very simple. If there is not enough charging infrastructure, EV adoption is simply not going to happen. So the availability of charging infrastructure is a precondition to EV adoption. If charging infrastructure is not there, then EV adoption itself will not happen. So the question of adequacy of charging infrastructure, we don't have to take it very seriously.
So, is 2026 the right time to buy an EV? Yes, But you need a few things to go your way. The first thing is you should be able to charge at home. That's super important. Then your usage is mostly urban commuting. Then an EV could be a smart move. But if you expect petrol-like convenience today, you may want to wait just a little bit longer. But the point is this, the EV shift is happening. It is only a matter of time before it becomes inevitable. The real question is, when do you want to be part of it? Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to the Hindu Business Line for more updates.